Hey everyone, it's Godfather Minute, where we never tell anyone outside the family what we're thinking. Literally in this case, because we're brothers.
That's right.
And everyone listening to this is related to us.
Mm-hmm. We're all family.
Yes. I'm Alex Robinson.
And I'm Andy Robinson.
And together we are Godfather Minute. Today we're discussing minute 40.
Mm-hmm. E minuto
numero
40.
Oh boy. 40.
You got it. 40.
40.
Say the whole thing.
E minuto numero 40. 40. Like quarter.
But then just TA at the end. 40.
40.
You got it.
Minuto numero 40. Oh my gosh, I can't do it.
There's another word that starts with qua.
Like quat. Come quat.
Qua.
That's a quarter.
Ranta.
Vanta.
You got it.
These 40s are going to be rough.
Yeah, it's going to be a long 10 minutes. The longest 10 minutes I never had.
So the minute 40, minute cuantas, starts off with the gang shuffling out of the Don's office after the Turk meeting has ended. Mm-hmm. They don't quite not everyone doesn't quite get out of the office because the Don has Sonny to stay after school to scold him.
Mm-hmm. Do you think Sonny knew he was going to have to stay after to meet with his pop? Do you think he was trying to hustle out of there because he knew it was a possibility?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't know how often do you think he did later on in the movie, we see the Don kind of consulting with Michael, like telling him, oh, listen, this is what look and keep an eye out for this. Did you think he does that with Sonny? Like, is he actively grooming Sonny to take over, or is Sonny just supposed to learn just by watching? And
I think he has to be teaching him along the way and giving him guidance, not just through modeling.
And I guess that's what Tom's for too. Tom's there also to be a kind of like stable, because Tom obviously knows the intricate workings and in many ways, in terms of the business, probably has a closer relationship to the Don than Sonny does in terms of business. I don't think he's as much of a father to Tom as he is to you or Michael.
So his pop holds him back and says, Santino, come here.
What's the
matter with you?
Snap out of it.
What's the matter? What's the matter with that? I guess you stayed home from college. They're stupid. He says, I think
this is where the Italian thing of saying, what's the matter you? Like, what's the matter you? Came from this. He's like,
really?
Yeah. What's the matter you? That's what.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
that it came
that's not
okay.
Yeah. Nice.
I think your brain is going soft from all that comedy you're playing with that young girl. Never tell anybody outside the family what you're thinking again.
Yeah, it's a great line.
It's a great line.
I would say that's a fairly iconic line from the movie.
Yeah.
I think I remember it because it sticks out to me because when I was, one of my other jobs is a cartoonist, and I was talking to my publisher once.
The funny papers.
I was talking to my publisher about something, then some other business distributor or some guy came over, and like I was just standing there, and I knew what they were talking about, and I knew that like my publisher was not giving that guy information that he had, and then when he walked away, he's like, "Never give anyone outside the family."
He was quoting the Godfather.
Yeah, he was quoting the Godfather too. So anyway, that was not that good of a story, but that was the first time I remember someone. I remember also being flattered because it was like, oh, I'm an insider. I'm not.
Oh, that's true.
I'm not a Turk. I'm.
I'm not Salazzo. I ain't no pimp.
I ain't no band leader either.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that he characterizes Lucy, the woman with the enormous vagina, as a young girl.
Huh? Why are you surprised that she's young?
I mean, she's maybe it's just, I don't know. To me, she seems like a woman in like her.
Just out of college, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah, because she's single.
Like, I thought she was in like her 20s or something for some reason.
Yeah, that would be right out of college. In the book, remember,
Even someone in college, I wouldn't say is a young girl.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah. I would say after college, you're probably a young woman.
Got it. Yeah.
Young girl is like, you're talking like,
gotcha.
Waltz level.
Yeah. Creepy.
Where you keep sliding back into Jack Waltz. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that comedy you're playing with that young girl.
Yeah.
Well, of course we have to do that whole line. Your brain is going soft from all that comedy you're playing with that young girl. Alex, let's break it down.
Break it, shake it, don't fake it. Let's break it down.
So where does that line come from?
Comedy.
Yeah. Was that an expression at the time? And from the 40s or the 70s?
I've never heard that expression in any other. I mean, I've heard the expression comedy before.
Yeah.
I mean, here's something I came up with. Comedy is tragedy plus time. That's I came up with.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you saying that Pop is saying that this is a tragedy?
Originally it was a tragedy, and now that a couple of minutes have passed, it's comedy. It'll turn into a tragedy because the baby that is conceived is the one who winds up killing Joey Zaza.
Oh, dun, dun. Well,
Zaza Slayer.
He was born to slay Zaza. Zaza. So, but in this case, it's opposite because it's comedy that becomes tragedy.
Yes.
So this is comedy plus time equals tragedy. Which mathematically is no, it's different. It's different because comedy equals tragedy minus time. Mathematically, you would subtract time. Anyway, I'm getting all math nerd on you. You see, Alex, you have to balance the equations if you're going to subtract.
Well, the Don has some interesting turns of phrase, like when he says in that deleted scene where he goes to see Jenko and Michael's wearing his uniform. He's like, "Oh, these Christmas ribbons you have on." So he's always trying to come up with like different different ways of.
He's trying to be clever with how he says.
It's important to keep your mind active, especially for an older person. I try to learn new languages, meet new people. I read the funny papers every day. Funny papers.
So, but I do wonder if that expression is maybe from Sicilian. I think we're going to have to ask our Italian consultant, Peter Carucci, from New York.
Yeah, or our Sicilian consultant.
Our Sicilian consultant from Arizona, Tony Consiglio. Well, I'm just wondering maybe that, because I'd never heard of that before.
Yeah.
Maybe that'd be an awesome deep cut if it actually were a common expression in Sicily.
I'm going to guess that it's probably just like a play on like, funny business or horseplay or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe in Sicilian, those two words are, similar.
Yeah. Playing comedy.
Yeah.
Maybe Santino, maybe he was prompting Santino to say, Pop, what's so funny? Why is it a comedy?
He says, well, because according to the man writing the story, Lucy's got big female parts. And
it's very meta. He goes,
"You realize, Santino, you're not real. We're all just characters in a play. That's why it's a comedy."
Wait, is he saying they're characters in a play?
I said they are. In a novel, best-selling novel, you and me are the main characters. I got news for you. I'm going to get shot. You're going to die in the causeway. It's already written.
He's like, "Pop, I got. You don't even know the half of it. We're actors in a movie that are playing those characters. We're not even those characters."
Well, get out of here, Stuarts. I should have gone to college to get stupid.
So then some flowers arrive.
yeah.
And I think it's a great visual thing because the Don's office is everything's very muted and earth tones and browns and tans and stuff. And then Johnny's flowers show up and there's so like explosion of color in they're reflecting his more showy Hollywood roots compared to the more, men of the people that the Don has.
I can't believe Sollozzo that quickly sent flowers to the Don to thank him for that meeting.
He probably did it ahead of time.
I just thought of that now.
That's a good,
hilarious. But in all seriousness, I don't know why, but I always thought that those flowers were from Waltz. I'm not kidding you. And you even hear him say, "Oh, the flowers from Johnny for the new picture," but I always thought they were from Waltz.
You mean up until you just watched it?
Yeah.
You really thought they were from Waltz the whole time?
Which makes no sense at all. Why would Walt send flour? I guess it kind of makes sense. He's saying, "Oh, hey, no, don't kill any more of my prize horses."
Yeah, sort of saying
Right.
like, okay, I get it.
Yeah,
I'm in your. Yeah, it's not outlandish that the.
But it is kind of funny to think that Waltz is fuming back at his Hollywood estate. I know I gotta send flowers to this guy.
Yeah,
Check him out.
Oh yeah. So speaking of the movie, so the movie that we never find out what the movie Johnny was in, but the movie Frank Sinatra was in. He played the character Angelo Maggio. Maggio. I don't know, Maggio. How do you? Angelo Maggio.
I think so. Yeah.
And that movie was From Here to Eternity, which came out in 1953, and this movie takes place in 1945. So Johnny he was a trailblazer for Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, definitely.
He's like, when I first saw that Johnny Fontane had threatened that band leader, I'm like, this guy's someone I gotta admire.
And with a weak voice. He did it with a weak voice. I can do it too. If he can make it there, I can make it too. Anywhere.
I did it his way. The Johnny Fontane way. So I've never seen that movie. Did we talk about that? From Here to Eternity?
I think we may have mentioned it, yeah.
I think that's one of those movies, one of those classic movies that is like, for the rest of eternity, less people are going to watch it than have watched it already.
Why?
I just think it's one of those movies that was a big deal at the time. And
was it a big deal at the time?
Oh, yeah. It was. It totally put Johnny on the map. It made him a big star. So
that is ridiculous.
Yeah. And then the Don's like, take it away. Take these flowers away.
Well, I think it's great how he says, "What is this nonsense?"
Yeah. What is this comedy?
What is this nonsense? He's on a roll. And then Hagen's.
I haven't seen flowers this big since the funeral. I gotta work on it.
And then Godfather says to Hagen, "Take it over there." And then Hagen says the exact same thing to someone. He says, "Take it over there," which is kind of funny, but to me it shows that the Godfather really has insulated himself. Like, he can't just say to that next person, "I'll take him over there."
Huh.
He truly has Hagen in that in-between layer between him and anyone else out there.
So he's like a buffer.
He's a
Whole lot of buffers, Alex.
Yeah, I wonder who it was in the story.
Yeah.
And I also wonder who it was. Like, was it just a stagehand, or like for realism, did they have like a guy dressed up in like as a worker of the the Genco olive oil?
I think it was
some guy drenched in olive oil.
I think it was a young I think that it was a young actor. Who's the actor who played Frankie Five Angels?
Oh, I don't remember.
It was
Michael something.
It was him who at the time was just a key grip on the set. And he was already trying to undermine the actor who played Clemenza to try to get into GF2.
Wait, so how was he undermining Clemenza?
Well, not yet undermining him, but he's trying to get in. He's trying to get in. He's working really hard, trying to get in.
Yeah,
some
get
part.
his foot in the door.
Yeah,
he's looking for that Turk crack, they call it.
Yeah. He saw that Santino was hot for the deal.
Totally. Have you ever sent a giant flower arrangement of that kind to someone?
No, not that big. I don't think so. I go for the more single flower.
Just one
Just
rose.
one flower. You know, that girl that I really like, but even though she doesn't like me, sending that one flower really sends a message. Everyone a day, every day. Even when they keep coming back to me, I keep sending one.
How many have you done so far?
Well, I started a countdown, and I'm at about 400.
Oh my gosh, what are you going up to?
No, I'm counting down. I started at about 1,000, and I can't tell you what I'm going to do when I get down to zero.
So you've sent 600 so far?
Yes.
Wow, that's a lot of roses.
But I can't tell you what. You'll definitely hear when I get down to zero. You'll hear about it.
Oh boy, okay.
Yeah.
It's exciting. New thing to look forward to.
But speaking of flower arrangements, I wanted to go back to Walt sending the flowers. When I started thinking that it was actually Walt that sent the flowers, I thought about, nowadays they have those greeting cards that when you open them, either music plays or you can have a recording of someone. So if Walt's were the one to send one of those, what would it play when Don Corleone opened it? Let's say if it's a Waltz recording. his voice.
So this is when he's sending the flowers. So he's going to be conciliatory. He's not going to be,
Yeah.
Huh. I think he would say something along the lines of like, I hope you enjoy these beautiful flowers. You do appreciate beauty, don't you, Don?
Oh, that's nice.
Kind of a callback to the although that will bring up the specter of cartoons. I think it would be a bill for $600,000.
I think it would be one of those audio recording ones. He opens it and it goes, "You make me wanna." No. It would be Waltz's voice saying, "Yeah, I made him a big star."
Oh yeah, there you go. We gave him singing lessons, dancing lessons, acting lessons with his olive oil voice and his skinny charm.
How do you think Waltz informed Johnny that he was giving him the part in the picture?
It was probably done through buffers. Like I'm sure Don.
You think Cheech told him?
Yeah, you had a lot of roles to fill in that. That's how he got connected with the crime family. He came to tell Johnny, and then he's like, "Yeah, Johnny, how'd you get this part?" And he's like, "Well, I talked to Don Corleone." And he's like, "Huh, maybe he'll have a heart attack."
No.
Take it easy, Frankie. Take it easy.
You rich cracker. He's all bent out of shape. He's all crying because of the hors d'oeuvres.
I made a joke on my Star Wars podcast. We have our version of Fredo Corleone's Mickey Mouse Nightclub, which is Star Wars Minute Listener Society. And I made a joke about can of peas, and I was hoping someone was going to say, "Can of peas, or just Ritz crackers." No,
Did anyone pick up on it?
No one bought it. So occasionally people will drop Godfather. They'll say like, "Oh, the book is different than the movie," or something that lets us. Speaking of which, we haven't had any books different from the movie.
That's true.
Lately, so
the book is different than the movie. The book is different than the movie.
Well, let's see. In this minute, there's actually
the book is exactly like the movie.
The book is exactly like the movie.
You're going to write a new song.
I was going to write it. It's exactly like the movie.
Wow.
I don't have any book notes. Next minute, I have plenty of book notes.
Oh, cool. Well, stay tuned for that, everybody. So then the last bit of the minute is the Don saying,
"Send in LUCA BRASI."
Yeah. And did you notice, Alex, that Don Corleone waits for the flowers to go, and Don Corleone is still looking down the hallway and continues looking down the hallway, presumably to make sure everyone's gone. And while he's looking, he says to Hagen, he says, tell Luca BRASI to come in. I think he knows that this has to be on the down low.
Oh, yeah, totally.
It's inside information.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't tell Tom that.
Yeah. I mean, Tom probably.
Have him come in, but don't make it look like you're having him come in.
You know what? We're going to have Connie get remarried just as a rule so I can have LUCA BRASI come in to congratulate me, but it's really just to have him go undercover. All right?
Oh, and that's why they purposely get Carlo to pick fights. So they get divorced and then you have Connie remarried.
Wow.
Oh, man, that Don, he's strategic.
He's always thinking 5 moves ahead of everyone else.
It's like 20 moves ahead.
It takes like 6 years to integrate for him to be integrated into the family. And then
you know why it didn't happen in the end?
Why?
Because there wasn't enough time, Michael.
Yeah, it is a great shot where he says it's the shot of the door closing, and then you see that like pebbled glass, and then you see LUCA BRASI's giant face slide into the frame. Especially, I recently went to the movies in a motion picture house.
You mean in a real theater?
In a real theater.
I didn't even think they were around. They had those anymore.
This was like an underground thing.
Okay.
And so.
So when you say, I'm sorry to interrupt, when you say you've been in the theater recently, you mean like someone's basement that they put in some nice chairs?
No, like a movie theater, like where they sell popcorn and so many nickels and dimes.
Okay, all right.
And it really made me appreciate going to the movies because in this modern day and age where people can't stay off their phones for 2 minutes, watching a movie just forces you to just sit and watch a movie and focus on it. You know what I mean? You're not going to be like getting up and making food or or
rewinding or pausing.
Yeah, pausing. And also seeing things on a giant screen, it can change. Like I think seeing Luca Brasi's giant head on a movie screen would be have much more of an impact than seeing it on a TV screen surrounded by, the clutter of your house and stuff like that. Like seeing his giant, because I've thought about that in this other movie I saw, and it wasn't even such a giant head. So I was like, God, it must have been like the Death Star moving in this giant, like a Macy's Day Parade float coming in this giant face. So,
speaking of which,
and what a face.
We should totally write the Macy's Day Parade organizers to suggest them making a big Luca Brasi
Oh
float.
my God. We got what would
his pose be?
I think it would just be. I say I wouldn't even be his body. It would just be his head with his tongue all like sticking out like it's just a giant head with of a garroted Luca Brasi.
Oh man!
And the tongue would go in and out as it moves.
Nice.
And all the people who had the ropes on the balloons would be the ones that are
pulling the garrote tighter and looser. Oh, that's great.
That's what I would do. And
Well, thanks for sharing the story about going to the theater. I think that's
really. Is there
because you're right. I've been noticing I'm on the phone way too much. Even when I'm driving, I get to a red light and I find I look over at my phone. Why? It's just pointless. So
not that you look at your phone while you're driving.
No. I don't do that while I'm driving. But while I'm driving, I kind of look over at my phone while it's in my hand.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
But you're not on your phone.
Not on it. I'm in it.
Gotta be in it to win it.
So that's so I'm going to try to go to the movies more because I do enjoy going to a movie. Portland, it has some wonderful old movie theaters, as you know. We've been to a few movies.
That's where I went the other night. I went to the Laurelhurst to see Raising Arizona.
Oh, and
great.
That was they're really good at playing older movies. It would not surprise me if they had The Godfather at some point.
They recently changed it. They've started doing first run. They keep some old movies, but they started doing mostly first run stuff, I guess, to remain competitive.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is your Portland entertainment update. So, what do we want to rate? Do you have anything else to talk about for this minute?
I do, yeah. Let's see. Luca comes in. Luca, or Godfather, asks him, says, hey, I want to find out what's under his fingernails.
Yeah, another weird colloquialism.
Yeah, so where do you think that expression comes from? And then it might seem obvious and common sense, but in a way, it really doesn't. Dirt under your fingernails? Because dirt can collect anywhere on you. I've thought a lot about this. Dirt can collect anywhere. Why does dirt under your fingernails? Why did that become the metaphor for sort of dirty underground business?
I'm going to say it's because when you wash your hands, if you just wash your hands quickly, someone can look at your hands and still see the dirt under your fingernails. So maybe it just means what does he not want us to see? What is he washing? What is he showing us his clean hands, that what's actually under his fingernails as opposed to what the clean hands? Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I accept that explanation.
Right.
That's great.
Or maybe there was DNA because the Turk scratched somebody.
I was thinking about scratching or sort of clawing your way up in the world. Yeah, but no, I think you're right. My only other point about the dirt under your fingernails, Alex, if you didn't say
dirt under my fingernails.
Well, I was going to ask if Luca Brasi had infiltrated your world of comics and podcasting.
Oh boy,
what would he find? What dirt would he find under your fingernails?
Well, he'd probably hear about that body that we have buried in the...
Oh, wait a minute. Whoa. I'll scrub it out.
You'll cut this stuff out?
You know what? I'll bleep that out later.
I had 50 pounds of cocaine. All went bad.
Let it all out, Alex.
All went bad.
We have podcast co-host
immunity.
No, not immunity. Privilege.
Oh,
yeah. It's we can't rat on each other.
Yeah, they'd have to show cause if they wanted to seize these transcripts.
I do have a question about spousal privilege.
Yes.
So
I'm not a lawyer. Just so this clear. So I don't want anyone to take this as legal.
So if you told your wife that you killed someone, and she wanted to testify against you, could she?
I don't.
Or is it that they couldn't compel her to because there is privilege?
I don't know. Is this another asked answer?
I think it's a we asked, and we need someone to answer. We asked. We need someone to answer.
You'll have to hire a lawyer just to come in and explain this stuff. Those guys.
Patreons, please step it up. You know, lawyers' fees these days, they make more than 100 button men out there.
Yeah. One man with a suitcase.
But does that question make sense?
Briefcase, yes.
I don't know if it's just that they can't rat on each other.
Well, in your particular example, I also don't know. I think it would be hearsay. If I came in and said I killed somebody, you're basically telling them what I said, which you can't. I don't think.
Well, what if you told your wife, "Hey, I killed a body. I killed someone, and the body."
She walked in, and I was in the middle of the murder.
Yes,
I just finished killing somebody, and she walked in.
Yeah, but then she left, and then you completely effectively disposed of the body. So the only evidence is of her having observed that.
And the dirt under my fingernails.
That's right. Which brings us back to your comics.
I don't know. I'll have to look up the spousal privilege thing.
All right. So that's all I had for the minute.
Right. So what do you want to rate it? We have Marlon Brando's in it. We have him reprimanding Sonny, the classic line.
That is
about,
good.
The family.
Man, I don't want to overdo the 4s, but they seem like
Use
4s.
the 4s.
I'm going to go 4. I think that's an iconic line.
Never tell anybody outside the family what you're thinking again.
People don't quote that one so much. So I'm going to go 3.
I'm going to go 4. I'm going to go with 4.
Okay. Why?
Because you have the Don chastising Sonny. You have not only just saying, don't tell anyone outside the family, but also saying, well, you're having comedy with that your brain's going soft, the comedy with that young girl.
It's a good one.
You have the kind of reference to Johnny Fontaine. He shows up in spirit, so it's kind of like an old friend showing up. You're like, oh, Johnny's still around. You got the part with its closure on
the
that
whole
story.
horse thing comes back.
Yeah,
kind of think about that.
Yeah, so, and then you got Luca Brasi's giant head showing up in it. So I'm going to say 4.
Luca Brasi's head floating down Fifth Avenue. That is the funniest float idea. The guy's pulling the strings.
Pulling the strings.
Oh, poor Luca.
All right. You know what? Let's come up with in the bonus content. Maybe we should talk about a Godfather themed parade.
I was just going to say, let's talk about some more Macy's Day Thanksgiving float ideas.
Let's
Perfect.
We'll talk about that for a while. So, hey, if you want to hear us go talk about that, then you can go to godfatherminute.com/Patreon. And, I guess for everyone else, take the gun and leave the cannoli.